once in my life made it through this section without dabbing. One slight dab, just barely. Happy with that run though. It was just one little post with my left foot.
So yeah, I was pretty happy with that. I have cleaned that section one other time, but it's just one of those ones where, yeah, I ride it like one time a year, and you never really know exactly what line to take, because it's just, there's so many rocks coming all at one time, and you're just like, where do I go? And you have to kind of make those decisions and just go through it. And I don't ride, it's like, I try to keep the trails fresh in that I don't go back to the same place over and over again. I ride a lot of trails here in Utah. We're branching out into a lot of different trails in Idaho and different places around, and I just love the variety of having different trails all the time. So I'm not going back and kind of wearing things in. So a lot of times I'm on these trails, I'm seeing it almost like for the first time. You kind of know generally what's coming, but you don't know any of the specifics. You can't remember because you don't ride it that often. So super fun section back there, and yeah, I was pleased with the fact that I almost got through that with just one little post on my left foot.
It's funny too, because I was telling Tyler just now, the two times that I've done that section, the very best, without exception, are when I was on 250XC, like today, and there was one other time I cleaned it all the way. And I was on 250XC, either my 2018 or my 2019, can't remember. Heck, it might have been a 2017. The point is, I do remember it was a 250XC. People talk about how the 250 can't do gnarly stuff, it's a bunch of poppycock. And then people also talk about how the XC can't do the gnarly, it's also poppycock. Yes, it is easier to do certain things on a 300. And yes, sometimes the XCW gearing does come in handy. But I feel like on a section like that one, the first gear on the XC being just slightly higher gives me a little bit of an advantage, because I'm carrying just a little bit more momentum, keeping my RPMs a little bit lower to maintain traction. So it just sort of depends.
Right now, I feel like the biggest gains that you get if you're going to pick an XCW, you know, like in 2020 or maybe even 2021, hopefully that continues to be the case, is the gains that you would get on the XCW are actually going to be in just how soft and supple your front fork is. So the front fork on this 250XC, it's the air fork. Yeah, I'm running less pressure, and so I've got it a little bit softer, but the fork, the Explorer 48 fork on the XCWs is actually really, really soft, and combined with the valving that they have on their rear shock, it just really absorbs those big rocky stuff when you're doing the slow stuff, and it just makes it easier. Like, it's so fun. And so, like, right now, it's really hard for me to want to pick between the XC and the XCW, because they kind of complement themselves so well, and I want to have both. And so here in the 2021 models, I'm going to have an XCW and I'm going to have an XC, and I happen to be in a situation where I can do that. Not everyone is. If I was just going to pick one of them, I would take the 250XC, but I want to have both, and so I'm going to have a 250XC and also a 300 XCW because the XCWs are awesome. But a trail like this right here, what we're going on right now, both of the bikes are awesome. You can't really go wrong with either one. And we're going to be coming into a lot more of the more wide open desert type stuff here in Utah. It's when I'm recording this voiceover at September 22nd. This video I actually shot 6 weeks ago, and I will have a backlog of footage here because we've done a couple different trips. And I've got a backlog of footage that will come out over the next few months. And so I'll be putting out mountain single track video probably still into December, but most of the riding that we're going to be doing past, November is going to be the desert type stuff, because that's what we have a lot here in Utah. Once it starts to snow, then we move, snow in the mountains, then we move out into the desert. And that's where this bike is really, really suited, when you can get out there in the faster, more quick stuff. So love this bike and love these trails. I'm going to put out a video here soon, probably, of my boys. I took them up on a portion of this trail further back, many miles back. Once you get out to the end here, we'll be, just wait for the cows, we'll be out like 30 miles from the truck, and then it's just kind of an out and back, and you have to turn around and go straight back into to the truck. So you end up doing a 60 miler, and we were going to do a couple little jogs to turn this into a 70 mile day, and the bikes did super well. They had tons of fuel left over at the end of this. So depends on your terrain. Sometimes we can do 60 miles, sometimes we can do 75 miles on these bikes. Just kind of depends on the day and the terrain and where we're going and what we're doing. So leave a single track. Thanks, guys.